Okay, so I'm sure you've been around long enough to see this whole friends to lovers type of storyline pop up now and again every once in a while, but I bet that you've never seen it go as terribly or get nearly as bloody as it does in this movie. We've got the feel-bad rom-com of the year, people. Let's talk about it. Obsession is a new horror film from director Curry Barker, and it tells the story of a hopeless romantic who breaks the mysterious one-wish willow to win over his crush's heart, but soon realizes it gives him exactly what he asked for in the most literal and sinister way possible. So as a massive fan of horror movies, it can be kind of hard to ignore some of the early buzz coming out about some of these projects, especially when they're shown at various film festivals like South by Southwest or Fantastic Fest. It feels like every year there's always one that's just praised out the wazoo and is being called the best thing since sliced bread. And for all intents and purposes, this year that movie seems like Obsession. Despite all of that though, this movie already caught my attention just because I love when films in this genre take an insanely simple concept and absolutely just run with it to the point that it goes completely off the rails, and the route they take us down is the most dark and entertaining way they could possibly structure this kind of story. So you have a horror film with a first-time director who has something to prove about a guy who takes matters into his own hands to force his crush into falling in love with him and immediately regrets all of the consequences that comes with that. I mean, yeah, come on, where do I sign up? So when I sat down to watch this movie, I was just hoping for a bloody, smart, and entertaining ride. And even though there are a couple of avenues within the story I wish they explored further, Obsession is still the real deal, and I think horror fans are really going to enjoy themselves. When it comes to the story they decided to go with here, like I said earlier, the basic premise is super simple, just about a guy wanting a girl to fall in love with him, but they just jack it up to the most supernatural and horrifying degree possible, in some ways to be an allegory for themes like manipulation and self-entitlement, but also just to be a bloody good time. The narrative is set up in a super snappy and stylish way. It feels like a natural progression of how things would actually go if this one-wish willow artifact actually existed in real life and was used in this circumstance. Like, our main character is constantly put in the correct situations to really let the horror and bloodshed run rampant. After he selfishly makes the choice to have this girl become obsessed with him, she obviously isn't too interested in leaving his side anymore. So doing simple things like leaving the house, attending a party, even going to work, all have unintended consequences that he just was not anticipating when he made this ridiculous choice. All of those moments were entertaining, they were surprising, and it was just kind of fun seeing all of the trickle-down effects that seep into your everyday life when a girl is put under a spell like this. One thing I'm still wrestling with regarding this movie is I feel like the main protagonist might end up being a little bit too likable throughout this entire journey, despite making an awful decision. I mean, he still pays the price for what he did, don't get me wrong, but you can't help but feel a little bit bad for him as all of this is going on. It's just a strange combination of emotions regarding a main character like this. Also, I wish we got more from Nikki, the girl who this all happens to, her perspective and her experience losing her agency. There were a couple of fleeting moments throughout the film that were terrifying and kind of made my brain run wild with possible story threads, but it doesn't end up getting explored all that much. Even with those two gripes though, it's still a super creative and entertaining story that I'm sure horror fans are going to be all over. When it comes to the performances in this movie, everyone is pretty solid and has good chemistry with one another, but the absolute reason to see this film is without a doubt just to witness the calculated batshit craziness from Indy Navarrete. She steals every scene she's in, she has to showcase every single emotion under the sun in both subtle and obvious ways, and she just makes you feel uneasy whenever she's on screen. Like you're going to be shifting in your seat as she takes every single situation she's a part of from bad to worse. I've never seen any of her previous work before this, but this is kind of a star-making performance for her. I feel like a lot of people are going to take notice because she has such a perfect handle on showing these range of emotions at the drop of a hat. One second she's innocent, another second she's funny, then the next second she's completely sinister. It's just a blast to watch. She's absolutely putting on a clinic out there. And even though nobody else involved brings remotely the level of heat that she is to the table, they still do a decent job of reacting to the mayhem she's putting in front of them. So as an ensemble, this group works well together. One last thing I want to talk about with this movie is the actual direction at play here. The guy sitting in the director's chair this time around is Curry Barker. It's his debut film. It's his first feature-length movie. And he used to be a YouTuber that was pretty well known for making popular horror short films that a lot of people liked. I never really seen them, but he's definitely got the juice. I mean, just from this project alone, you can tell the dude already has a really good handle on balancing these tricky, conflicting tones while also being able to ratchet up the intensity and the tension slowly as the story unfurls in front of you. Navigating both horror and comedy together together is really hard. Like, it's not done well a lot of the time. And this movie somehow switches from laugh out loud funny moments to outrageous scenes of violence so fast you don't even have a second to strap in and prepare for it. The lighting, the color grading, and the framing all work together here to create a very distinct atmosphere, and I'm looking forward to whatever this kid does next, which supposedly is a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Overall, guys, Obsession is definitely worth all of the hype it's been getting. It takes a simple concept and absolutely runs with it, offering up a stylish, bloody, and entertaining horror experience that'll keep you locked in until the credits start to roll. Indy Navarrete is the real star of the show here, dishing out a super memorable and layered performance. Nothing here would be as half as good without her. And even though the story doesn't go as deep into her perspective or explore the ramifications of this curse as much as I wanted, it's still a damn entertaining and bloody time at the movies. Obsession gets a Sully score of 4 stars. So that's my review of the latest horror movie. What do you think has been your favorite entry in the genre in the last 10 years? Kind of an obvious answer, but I have to go with Hereditary here. It just keeps getting more interesting every time I watch it. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys at the next one.